Alright, today we're going to be looking at doing a comparison against the CZ P10c versus the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 Compact. Both these guns have been out for a couple years now, so there's plenty out there about them. I want to give my personal thoughts. I've already done the Glock 19 versus the 2.0 Compact. Now, I picked up a P10c because I've always wanted to try one, even though they've been out for a while, and I never got around to it. So I did, and I decided, these two guns are in the same range. They're in the, they're all in the same ballpark. They're all shooting for the Glock 19, even though some call this the Glock 19 killer. I'll leave that up to you to decide, but I'm going to give you my thoughts on them, go over a few specs on each of them. You know what I think about the M&P if you watch the versus the 19 video. But I will compare it to this because, these are two very good options if you don't care for the Glock, and you're looking for a mid-size 15-round capacity black striker-fired gun. So first, let me just go ahead and take out each magazine, show you they're empty and the guns are clear guns. I'm going to put the magazines off to the side, but I guess we can talk about them real quick. They both hold 15 rounds each. So you can see the CZ mag is a little bit longer, but they are kind of a standard. The CZ comes with the orange followers like a lot of guns are doing now, especially the Gen 5 Glocks are doing that. The M&P has just a gray follower. That's take that how you want. Some people like that, some people don't. The guns overall, I've shot the M&P since I've had it. I've had this since right around when they came out a few years ago, around Christmas time. And the CZ I've got recently. Now I don't have as many rounds through the CZ as I do the M&P, but I have enough that I can give a pretty good review on it. I had some problems out of the P10 that I wasn't expecting. We'll go over that here in a little bit. But overall, let's just look at them side by side. The guns are roughly the exact same size. The CZ just, let's see, we got them. They're almost dead on in every way, roughly the same size. Height, overall height on the M&P is 5 inches exactly. The height on the P10c is 5.2. Your width is 1.26 on the CZ, and the M&P is 1.3, and this is manufacturer's specs. Barrel length's 4 inches for the M&P, and then they have 4.02 for the CZ. So weight is 26 ounces for the CZ and 24 for the M&P there. Of course, both 9mm, but you can get the 2.0s in 40 and 45. Right now, they're not making any other calibers in the P10c that I believe. Not that I know of. They are making different versions now. As of July 2019, they have a full size, they have a smaller version, a subcompact, they have optics ready versions, and same thing with the M&P. They have 5-inch versions. They have a 3.6-inch version of this. So there's different models out there if those suit you, but these two are the closest. Both come with metal 3-dot sights on the rear. My M&P has Trijicon HDXRs, and if I decide to keep this, I might put these on the P10c. Grip, the P10, it's got some texturing on there. It's got 3 back straps with it, of course, just like the M&P. The texturing is there. It does a little bit. It helps get you locked in up high, but I still, for this gun, think that it would need some traction, some Talon grips on it to kind of keep you locked in a little bit better. I don't think anybody can really beat the 2.0 texturing on the new MPs because they're just, it's granulated, and some people don't like that. They say it rubs them. When I carry this, it doesn't seem to bother me. And I love that kind of grip. I've always put granulated talons on most of my guns, so I love that grip. The only thing I know that's close to it is like the SIG 320s. They kind of have that kind of feel to them also. The slides, we'll look at the slides. The 2.0s have came out with this nice contoured looking slide. Got some small serrations up here in the front. It's easy to grab from the front and the back. These serrations work pretty good. The CZ serrations are pretty good too. They work, you know, like they should. Both guns, triggers. The M&P, they always took flack on their original models for their triggers, so they've upgraded this trigger. A lot of people don't like the hinge, and I kind of like it because it fits almost perfect. Now the trigger, both of them have, well, like is a kind of a quick take up. You can go right to that wall, and then they break right after the wall. The CZ has a little heavy break. It's a nice, crisp, solid break and a nice, solid reset. I'm overshooting it. So it's got a really nice trigger. And the M&P, a lot of people still don't love it, but I really do like the M&P 2.0 triggers. It's got a little bit longer take up and a little bit not as clean. But I think the trigger feels great. Either way, everybody's making triggers for both of these guns. HB Industries makes one for this. Gray Guns has one. Or not Gray Guns, not Gray Guns. CZ USA. And CZ... Well, let's see, what's the other one? Cajun Gun Works. They have a trigger for it. Apex has one for the M&P. So you have trigger options. You have a lot of options out there for the P10, the CZ. There's a lot of companies making aftermarket accessories, so both have pretty good aftermarket accessory support. So you know, if that's something compared to Glock, it's hard to beat. So when you look at guns, let me think, maybe like the new Beretta APX, that's kind of a contender for it. There's not a lot of aftermarket support, so a lot of people don't like that. These two guns have a pretty good amount, not as good as Glock, and I don't think you're ever going to find one as good as Glock, but maybe over the years you'll start getting different strikers and all those different parts that you can change out in Glock. I love both guns overall. They both feel great in the hand. Both guns are completely ambi, except for the M&P. You have to switch the magazine release around, but it does have the slide lock on both sides, even though the slide lock on the CZ is pretty hard to push down. After time, it'll lighten up. So let me get to the bad. The M&P I've never had any problems with. I've owned this gun since new. I've put hundreds of rounds through it, if not thousands. Not thousands. I'd probably put 1,500 through it. I only have about 100, maybe 150 through the P10. Now, I will say on my 146th round, I was shooting. For some reason, either the gun didn't cycle right or something just felt right, so it didn't feel right. So I stopped shooting, I dropped the mag, went to eject the round, and the slide locked up. I couldn't pull a slide back at all. I could pull it back maybe about this far, just like you would do to release it, but I didn't want to pull the trigger. I didn't know if there was a live round in there or not. I didn't know if it was a stuck case. I was shooting my reloads, so I watch my loads very carefully. I hand load them all on a single stage press, so I see every bullet. So my first thought was that maybe the case expanded and the old case didn't get out. So luckily I had a bore scope and I could stick it down the barrel and I could see that it was a live round. So I knew that the round couldn't have expanded and got stuck in the chamber. So what I ended up doing, and I'm telling you, I was putting every bit of force I had. I mean, I put it down on wood, smacked the back end. I mean, I pretty much laid every bit of my body weight on here trying to eject the slide, or get the slide to cycle so I could eject that round. I couldn't do it, so I didn't want to take it back home with a live round in the chamber to work on it there. Either way, I couldn't pull the trigger to get the slide off to even look down in there and see what was going on. So I eventually put it in a ransom wrist, grabbed a string, pulled the round shot fine. There was nothing wrong with the round itself. So I'm not sure still what this happened. After that, I loaded up 4 or 5 more rounds. They shot fine. So what I thought might have happened would be maybe I let one round slip, and I didn't seat the bullet down to the depth it should have been, which will cause it to the bullet get into the grooves of the rifling, and it can get stuck. I've had that happen on some Glock Lone Wolf barrels on 147 grain loads. Now these were 115 grain Hornady Haps, loaded with, it wouldn't be more than 1 second fired brass. I went ahead and loaded some long rounds. Like I really pushed it, just dummy rounds, and cycled them through the P10, and they seemed to cycle fine. They didn't get stuck. So I still have no idea what happened. Nothing looks abnormal in the gun. And just to show you breakdowns on both guns real quick so we can look inside this one. This is the same as any Glock. Pull the trigger, pull it back a little bit, and that's your Glock takedown. Let's look inside both guns. The M&P has the lever system, so you pull back the slide. You don't have to pull the trigger. You can open up and flip the little lever down, but I just pull the trigger because there's, well, I know the gun's empty. Pull those apart. So you want to look at barrels. The lug on the CZ is a lot beefier. Whether it needs to be or not, who knows? But you know, they've made it a lot wider. It's got a lot bigger feed ramp and everything. Not really the ramp, but just the metal around it itself. So both barrels right at the exact same length. So yeah, like I said, I couldn't find anything wrong with the gun. Now I did buy this gun and take it directly to the range without cleaning it or oiling, and so maybe that had something to do with it. I'm gonna go out and shoot a lot more before I, you know, kind of give my, you know, throw it away, or, you know, not throw it away, but give hope on it, because I know a lot of people have had, you know, plenty of good things to say about the P10, so I know it's nothing to do with the gun itself. Now, there were some earlier problems with it. I think there were striker issues with the P10c, and there's a couple small issues, just like every gun has. Get in there. So, what else do I want to say about it? Mag releases, it's got a nice, good size mag release there. You can get your hand on pretty good. So is the M&P. The M&P can be bought with a safety model. You can see this one wasn't, but this fell out the last time I took it all apart, and I haven't put it back in yet. Both have Picatinny rails on them to attach lights and lasers and whatever gizmos you want to attach. Both look good. They're sleek. The CZ, it's hard to say. You know, I really love the feel of the M&P. It's one of the best feeling guns. Even, you know, people, so the VP9, I have the PPQ. The PPQ feels great, but I love the M&P. It's one of my favorite shooting 9mm. And right now, reliability-wise, since I've had that issue with the P10, I'm gonna give it up to the M&P. Now, I'm sure everybody will say they've had issues with the M&P and none with their P10C, and I'm sure that's true. Everybody's experiences are different. Before you carry a gun, don't listen to some guy on YouTube. Go out, shoot hundreds of rounds through them yourself. Shoot boxes of your carry ammo through them. Make sure the gun's gonna run. Clean it. Keep it clean and oiled. Let's see, anything else I can really say about it? You know, these are two great options if you're not looking to go with the Glock 19. You know, there's many other options out there. Of course, the VP9, but the VP9 is a little bit longer. It's more Glock 17 size. You know, there's a multitude of striker fire 9mm out there now gunning for the Glock 19's top spot. And a lot of people say this is it, and it may be. Right now, I don't, you know, it shot really good, and I'm not a huge 19 fan. But for me, I'm going to go with the M&P this at this point. They're both around the same price point. You can pick the P10c up for $350 now, I think, on Buds, and the M&P sometimes it goes a little bit cheaper, especially if you get 40. It's like $299 for 40 if you want a 40. But yeah, that's the market for 40 right now. It's going down just because of everybody on YouTube. So, and you know, just overall FBI switching to 9, that has something to do with it. But yeah, these are my opinions on these two guns. Both great guns, great aftermarket support, 15-round magazines. They look good, they shoot good. So tell me your thoughts. What's your favorite? If you have both of these guns, let me know which one you like the best. And if there's tell me your favorite striker fire 9mm. We will be doing a complete disassembly on the P10c here shortly. I'm wrapping up my SIG 226 single action video. I gotta finish a few things on that and we'll be good to go. So yeah, like I said, let me know in the comments which one's your favorite. What's your favorite striker fired 9mm? So we'll see you next time on the shooting table. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more.